Welcome back to my channel, and today I will be talking about a serial killer who has lived a life of crimes and has killed more than a dozen people throughout his lifetime. His name is Yoo Young Chul. Before we begin, one big difference between him and Jack the Ripper is that we know who he is and his history. Yoo Young Chul was born in 1970 in South Korea. Ever since he was young, his family wasn't so rich. His family's poverty was the reason why kids in school made fun of him. This was when he started to hate the rich. Later, when he was in high school, he started stealing. But even after he grew older and graduated high school, he kept on stealing. His constant crime of thievery led him to get in and out of jail during the 1990s. In 2000, Yoo Young Chul raped a 15-year-old girl and was arrested and served 2 years of jail time. After his release, he started breaking into rich houses and stealing and killing the people who lived there. But also in 2002, his wife divorced him. That is when he developed hatred for women as well. Then he started killing prostitutes just like Jack the Ripper. He used the Korean black market to find a system where he could lure the prostitutes into his house and then kill them. But when we talk about Yoo Young Chul, his method of murder is the most unique part about him, which is what makes his murders more horrifying and famous. He would smash the victim's head with a hammer. Yoo Young Chul's famous way of killing made it easy for the police to recognize his victims. He was caught by the police in 2003, and he confessed his crimes and claimed that he had killed 26 people. After a long police investigation, it had turned out that he had killed 21 people, less than what he had claimed, but still a lot. Yoo Young Chul had a specific reasoning for his actions, which were how he was treated as a child from a poor family and how his wife divorced him after he was out of jail. That's why when he was released from jail in 2002, he robbed a rich house and killed their family as well. This shows that even though this event is quite recent, that there are still hate crimes that are caused by the gap between the rich and the poor. This just represents how poorly the South Korean government had governed the country during that time, causing these crimes to occur because of money. Surprisingly, after the killer was caught, he mentioned on national television that he would hope his actions would serve a lesson to the women and to the rich. Yoo Young Chul was merciless against all his victims. He would even kill the elderly by smashing them with a hammer. In some cases, he would cut out the organs of some of his victims, just like Jack the Ripper. But Yoo Young Chul was even worse, since he confessed to the police that he sometimes ate the organs of the victims. On court, he mentioned how sorry he was to all the people who he had killed. But he mentioned the fact that he would kill hundreds more if he were to be released. And that is why he received a death sentence. During his time in jail, he sent out several stories about the killings to a reporter who would later on publish all of them. Yoo Young Chul, this cruel killer, had this one time where he was so scared, and that was when his 4-year-old son called him while he was mutilating a body. His exact words were, "The scariest moment was not when a decapitated head fell off from a hanger or when a headless body came running to me. It was when my son called to ask if I still have a cold." His stories were so famous that eventually his crimes motivated a director to create a Korean movie called The Chaser, which reflects his story. This cruel South Korean killer was a killer who had his own reasons. He thought of himself as a prosecutor of women and the rich. This scary killer terrified the country and the entire region of Seoul. He brought fear in South Korea and to many women and the rich. Thank you for watching, and bye.